Hello and welcome to Game Soup with Chloe and Kayla. This is a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Kayla Dice. How are you doing today, Chloe?
Can I interest you in some merchandise for Wicked? We have an Elphaba cup, we have a Glinda cup, we have a special popcorn bucket, we have the exclusive Defying Raspberry flavor Ice Blast.
Defying raspberry's a terrible pun. What the hell?
Well,
I think the boys of the boardroom need to give that one another crack.
look, I spent about an hour the other day getting angry at the animated advert on our Ice Blast machine at work because it's like, oh, some flavors are around for good, and then it's like, oh, it's the I can't even remember the name of the cherry one. It's so forgettable. It's like just like perfectly cherry or something. Or cherry goodness. Which is just like, yeah, okay, I guess Glinda's good. She's the good witch.
These
And
are laboured.
yeah. And it's not even like a new flavor. It's not like Wicked Witch apple. It's just like the existing raspberry flavor. Anyway, this is a podcast about game design, not me complaining about cinema things.
But until Wicked leaves cinemas, this will be a reoccurring segment.
It's okay. Next week we'll be talking about Zootropolis and how much we hate that. And then the week after that, Five Nights at Freddy's. So look forward to that.
Man, it's a summer of fun in this winter for you.
Apparently, this
You
last year
sent
has been
me.
really quiet for the cinema, but this winter has suddenly like, yeah, this is what it's normally like, and it's like, oh my god, this is what it's normally like. I'm so tired.
Oh, that does, yeah, sound draining as hell. You sent me in the middle of week an old game idea you had gotten a couple of notes for. Do you want to read the notes you had?
Yeah, so I was looking for my old X account, X the Everything app. We know it, we hate it, and yeah, it was some draft tweet from my private account that I just posted there and nobody interacted with. But it was about. So what I've written here is Fallen Star Retrieval Group, a government agency that contains and gathers fallen stars before people can wish on them. And then some bullet points. What happens when they're late? Who are the weirdos who work for them? Why does the government want the stars? And it's kind of giving Triangle Agency,
And
but I
then,
wrote this in like 2022.
yeah, it's an interesting process. I replied to that. Are you aware of the similarities this has to the world details of the Disney movie Wish?
All I know about the Disney movie Wish is that the villain song sucks, and that I think he wants all the
It sounds
wishes for
very like
himself.
Imagine
But
Dragons to me.
yeah, but yeah, I know the king. I my brain is providing Fiero, but that's not his name. That's from Wicked again. So King Fiero wants all the wishes so that he can maintain his rule. Um,
Yeah, I know there is an element of wishes are real and matter. I then like sort of just speculated on this, but like I believe everyone else in the world, I have no idea what happens in the Disney movie Wish. So I said, for podcast content, we could look it up live on the air and find out. Like maybe I'm full of shit. Like other than involving wishes, maybe this has no thing to do with
Wish
it.
Disney
Film
plot.
Wish follows a 17-year-old girl named Aisha who makes a passionate plea to the stars in a moment of need. She meets a living magic fallen star. This I know. The villain's name is Magnifico, so you actually know a bit more about Wish uh, than I think. I know Wish is also supposed to be the origin story of the star in the Disney logo.
Yeah,
Um,
it was like their 100th anniversary film or some bullshit, wasn't it? So
So this is, I guess, the starting element. King Magnifico and his wife, Queen Amaya, established a king of Rossus on an island in the Mediterranean Sea. Having studied sorcery, Magnifico is able to grant the greatest desires of his subjects, but they have to give up the memory of their wishes to be sealed away and protected by the king until he can grant them once a month at a ceremonial event. Magnifico chooses one wish to be granted. Um,
so
blah 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 blah. He doesn't grant the wishes. She makes her own wish on a star. So otherwise, so he's actually just gathering the wishes people are making, and I guess he can grant them with sorcery, and he's a villain somehow. So actually, outside of the fact that the fallen star is a plot point and it's about wishing.
Yeah.
You're not that similar to the Disney movie Wish.
No, I think I was
So
aiming for
do you
more
want
of
to now
a,
just
like.
develop this idea more?
I think I was aiming for more of a Neil Gaiman Stardust. We denounced Neil Gaiman on this podcast, but we like the film. So, um, where like a star falls to earth and some witches want to eat the heart so they live forever, but you can also wish on a star and stuff. So I'm thinking like, yeah, you are, I don't want to say you're cops, but I think you are some sort of group who go out and gather these stars up so they can't be wished on by malevolent forces. But the world is affected by wishes. It's like there was a comic a couple of years ago called 8 Billion Genies, where everyone in the world gets a genie all at once. Something like that. So the world's all kind of
This also
kooky, and yet
sounds
everyone's had a wish.
a bit Torchwood.
So you play as
Like
Torchwood.
original 2 seasons Torchwood. But
Yeah.
this was the thing I was going to say. I know you're like, oh, I don't want this to be cops, but are we saying the stars are human? Because, or even like living sentient? Because at that moment, the government agency capturing them is immediately cops or worse.
No, I think these stars are little Mabio stars that you pick up and you hold it to your heart, and your truest wish comes true. But of course, this causes chaos in the world when everyone gets a hold of these wishes. So you play as Wishwood, Torchwish, and you have to go out and stop, randos from getting their hands on these wishes. But then what happens if you're late? What happens if, you get stopped? What happens if your guys get their wishes come true? And I think that would be cool.
I think there's an interesting tension here if you do work for an employer who presumably is just wanting these wishes sealed away in a vault where no one uses them, but you may have motivation to use them, but also is that going to be a conflict there? I guess you need to a very early thing you need to decide about this game is like, yeah, is your an employer good or not? Like you could be more complex with it, obviously. I think you do need an idea of like, are they, on the up and up, but maybe you disagree with them, or are they like secretly really shady or whatever?
Yeah. I like the idea that, like, you could have, like, that triangle agency sort of meta arc of, like, oh, you're learning about the agent, whatever agency you're working for throughout the book. And it's like, oh, however you decide to play your characters lends the agency to be good or bad. And then, oh, do we have to rescue these wishes and set the world to its true state or whatever? And or do we have to keep the wishes away from everyone?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. As we were talking about Tortured, I remembered a very funny conversation I had with some friends recently, which is very irrelevant to this game design podcast. But do you want to go down this rabbit hole with me?
Yeah, I'll follow you down this rabbit hole.
Okay, so I read a book a few months back called Innocence and Others, which I liked, but I remember thinking like some of the quotes on the blurb I found quite misleading. One of which was described it as like a bit of an erotic thriller in some ways. And after reading it, I was like, I really don't get how this is erotic at all. And I was like, there is like a straight, like multiple sex scenes in it. But then I was thinking, I think there was an element of I think there's a difference between erotic and just featuring sex. I don't think it was necessarily aiming in that way. So I still think
Yeah.
that was a slightly misaccurate quote. That's a side thing here. But it then got me thinking of trying to wonder if I could remember what is the first book I read which had a sex scene in, which I'm not sure I can remember at all. But then in talking about this people, we also got onto TV. And at first I made a guess of like, oh, maybe like Skins was the first TV or film. It would have been more likely TV than film, where I first saw a sex scene. And then I was like, no, it was probably Torchwood, which means I probably did see gay sex on TV before straight sex.
Nice. I love that for you. I can see that being, a defining part of your character arc.
You think if gays weren't on TV, I'd have ended up straight? If you
Couldn't
think
possibly
media's got
comment.
that.
You might think that, Prime Minister, but
Do we want to go to a well of randomness?
that didn't even lead to a game idea.
No, I said I wanted to go down a rabbit hole with you. Do you have a...
Okay, game where you play
I
as
said it
TV
was a
censors.
tangent.
And I thought it would lead
I said it
somewhere,
was a
okay?
complete tangent.
Game where you play
That's
as
not what a
TV
tangent
censors,
is.
and you have to work out how to put your agenda into the TV by giving the writers notes and the directors notes. But it's like you can't let the higher ups realize that you've got this agenda you're trying to put into the TV stuff. But it's not like, oh, there's gays on TV. It's like, yeah, I'm secretly trying to prepare the masses for the alien invasion, or uh, like more cults on TV, please. Like really weird esoteric stuff like that.
Could see this as some kind of like solitaire deck builder esque like solo video game. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's a tabletop game in this. I also think we should let ourselves start making tangents where we don't then have to riff a game out of them.
Well, that's just you. I think this would be a boxed single player journaling game where you get a bunch of standards and practices forms. That's the name of the game, by the way. And you have to fill them in based on like the cards that you reveal. So, oh, it's a sci-fi show, and oh, there's this plot happening in the show, and blah blah blah. But now we have to work out, oh, how can we make this about aliens who are invading, and we need to prepare the masses to accept their future alien rulers. And then it's like, oh, how do we do this for the news?
I
Like,
I think this is also similar to an idea we put up about like competing TV programmers 50 odd episodes ago.
oh yeah, no, no, I'm saying that was a game about like loading your schedules. This is a game about
So
like
you want
you
this as a
are
companion
trying to
game?
rewrite existing things. Yeah. And I think it's like a standalone single player. I think we'd probably market it as a board game, but you are playing as a character in this board game.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea. Like, obviously, I know single player board games do exist. I actually don't know how widely played they are because it's never a thing I've paid that much attention to.
Yeah. Or something like Paper Wrap Dungeon, which I see a lot of on TikTok, so I have to imagine it's very popular.
Do we now want to move to the well of randomness?
Let's go to the well of randomness. Are we doing this genre thing that we did last week, or are we writing that off?
No, I think let's stick with it. I've got the genre generator up.
Yeah, okay. So my first word is vegetarian.
The genre I had was spy fiction. I really do think if we're doing the genre thing, though, you need to bring in a second word.
Okay, aisle, like in a supermarket.
Okay, the vegetarian aisle spy fiction. See, I feel like you're gonna pin this and say, "Oh, the genre flipper is bad." I think we'd come up with a bad game with vegetarian and aisle anyway. Like, let's give it a good go. But I do not think the fault about the fact we're about to come up with a dog shit game lies in the genre.
Okay, fine. Well, if you want to give the genre the pass on this, the vegetarian aisle, it's a game where you get a bunch of stickers or magnets or whatever, and you have to build the most evocative vegetarian marketing for your whatever it is. It's milk, it's fake meat, whatever. But other players can then look at your things and say, you said that it's actually milk and not cow product, so you can't put that on the shelf. And it's a very like Jackbox, ransom notes sort of magnet playing game. It's not a role playing. This is not a role playing game. I'm in board game mode today. I'm sorry.
I was gonna stick with spy fiction. I was just gonna say like genre's not gonna be the fault. The problem, like both, like this would be rough. I was gonna say if it's spy fiction, it's okay. You need to infiltrate a supermarket.
Okay, keep
The
going.
the black supermarkets.
Huh?
This is about a spy who thinks the black market is a real
Oh, like the
place, and they're
I
trying
get
to
it.
get a job at what they think is the black market.
So it's Oxet. Oxet. It's reverse Tesco, and I don't know. Do they sell guns here, or is it just like a normal supermarket? But he's trying to do spy thriller shit here.
Oh yeah, we do just do it as some semi-absurdist thing where we imagine a real black market where yeah, like it is they are selling guns and stuff, but it's a John Wick world where like assassins have hotels.
Yeah,
Assassins also have the black market. You're a spy trying to get a job here to track down some enemy spy or something eventually.
yeah. I can see a sort of hidden role thing where like you're working at just normal Tesco, but like one of you is a spy for some reason. It's like, is this like a corporate espionage thing? It's like it's some sort of espionage thing. Ho ho ho. Um,
Do you want to give us one more spin to take us out?
yeah, go on then. My words are rifle and twist.
um, I've got zombie apocalypse.
So you are the guards on the wall of the last settlement that is known on Earth, and it is about your day-to-day lives watching the frontier around New Citiesburg, the last city. We'll call it the last city, and you're watching for zombies and whatever, but you're also like trying to romance the locals or whatever, and it's about like building up your relationships with the other guards and whatever. And the way we get twists in is that it's all building towards like the village dance. It's like, who are you going to ask to the dance? Who am I going to do the twist with?
Okay. I think I told you I watched Night of the Living Dead recently, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Yeah, what I was struck by it is a how much more interesting I feel like the start of a zombie outbreak is than the later apocalypse genre, but also lots of all sort of smaller subtle differences I actually found very interesting. Like Night of the Living Dead is very much like the bite isn't the transfer there, it's just like an area is affected by radiation and the dead come back to life in there. It's just a bite is fatal kind of.
yeah,
um Also, they can pick up bricks and tools and stuff, which I was like, that's so much more scary than a fast zombie.
yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
running,
so
I'm like,
what?
okay, yeah, that's pretty. But also, just
So,
like, they pick up a brick to smash a window, I'm like, oh no, that's such a problem. That's
yeah, they're
gonna be
scraping my
such
window.
a
Whatever. Oh,
problem.
they're in the windows now.
Um, but yeah, no. What I actually thought I had here, that's sort of maybe an interesting thing, is if you do zombie apocalypse, not necessarily as some like as like right at the end, like not like you're not in the zombie post apocalypse. It's very much just like a disaster movie that like continues to drag out. Like it's like you're almost doing like maybe it's like a you're told the zombie outbreak will probably be over in a couple of months, and then this is a game that covers a 2-3 year period or whatever.
Yeah, World War Z adjacent.
No, I don't think because World War Z goes with this idea of like, oh, it is an apocalypse. I'm more imagining this like a pandemic or a natural disaster.
Yeah. Oh, so this is about people like holding out in
um
like a shopping center or something, and they have to protect themselves. But the government says it'll be over in
no,
six
I
months,
think
so
it's
just
about
survive
going to
6 months.
work
No.
while the zombie apocalypse is on.
Okay.
I think it's about the fact that like if you work at a shop, it's like, yeah, no, sorry, you're a key worker, you do still need to go in. Some jobs have moved from home to avoid the zombies, and also all key workers are now being provided with a crowbar, license to whack. It's about like society really just absorbing a zombie apocalypse into this day-to-day life rather than
Everything going to
um
hell, yeah.
it actually doing much to overwhelm or tumble like the societal forces.
Damn, so it's just about going to the office, but also your coworker Jeff is stuck in his car because he's a zombie now.
Yeah, I feel like so far what I've pitched is an interesting film setup.
Yeah, that's a
um
film. That's the opening of
And what
Shaun of the
you've
Dead,
pitched
I
is an
think.
interesting video game. Or, but I think maybe there's an interesting thing with it as a solo journaling thing. If I say it's like a year, like almost a solo journaling thing where like, well, actually, this is a fun thing. Going back to Night of the Living Dead, is like so much is conveyed by the radio and TV, and actually a lot of like relevant plot thing for the characters is to wait to see what information they're being given from the TV and radio. So there's maybe a fun thing of this as a solo game where you just have like, good, even if I was doing a digital thing, give what is like radio broadcasts, like record them, and it's like a
Yeah,
year's worth of radio broadcasts where you're playing them and then journaling in response to them and stuff. Have with some like rollable tables to decide facts about your character, like whether they're a key worker or get sent home or stuff.
yeah. Like I think my idea with the guards on the wall is kind of what I'm going for with clerics, but in this you'd be like not people that people go to for help. It would be people who are watchers on the wall. So like maybe, oh, I need you to like hunt me a deer. Will you go out into the danger zone or whatever? So you could like have missions out into the thing. It's kind of like the opening of The Last of Us 2, if you've ever played that. Um,
I have not played any of The Last of Us, but yeah, no, that I think I get what you mean with clerics, but I guess the zombie thing very flipped by being a apocalypse idea. We named none of these games, so I'm sure you're going
I've
to
been
have a
writing
lot of
down
fun doing
names.
the
I don't know what
episode
to tell you.
description. Have you? Okay,
Yeah.
pitch me on all of the names for everything we've discussed in this episode.
So the wishing one was Wishwood because that was a joke I made about Torchwood. I named the Standards and Practices game. It was Standards and Practices. The one where you design vegetarian, product is Malk. Like the joke in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
We have Black Supermarket, but super is in brackets. And then The Last City. And then I think we need a name for your journaling one, but then that's it.
Yeah.
Day in the
Well,
death.
actually, there was
It's
a
like
funny
day in
thing,
the
a
life.
line I liked in The
But
Night of the Living. Day of the Dead.
day in the
Day in
death.
the Dead. Oh, right. I was going to say there's a line, a phrasing they keep using in Night of the Living Dead where they keep referring to it as a homicide epidemic when they just don't understand what's going on. They're like, yeah, everyone's just like kind of got really into homicide.
The homicide
There's a new
epidemic.
craze that is sweeping the nation, children, and they're calling it homicide.
Do you know where your homicidal maniacs are?
Um, Thank you for listening to Game Soup. Welcome to December. There's only like another week left on Mech Ridder, so check that
Go,
out if you haven't at
go throw some money at it.
mechs.radwave.uk. Bye.
Bye.